there is a box in the corner of my sewing room. It is a box whose contents have not seen the light of day for many a month. Many crafters will be familiar with this box, in all of its forms. There's the ever-growing amorphous lump that lies underneath your desk, the monster underneath your bed, the stuff you vacuum packed in a fit of organization and stuffed into your garage in the hopes that you'd never have to deal with it again. This, my friends, is the unfinished sewing pile. The item that I'm going to work on today is a new addition to the pile, this rust-coloured crop top. Now, it's cut apart at the sides already because I tried it on the other day and it was too small and I literally had to be cut out of it so that I could breathe. You might remember this being mentioned if you watched my vlog the other day.
And yeah, I had to cut you out of the shirt the other day, so there was that. Yeah.
Anyway, I thrifted the top a couple of weeks ago, even though I knew it was probably too small for me because I really liked the colour and style. As you can see, it really doesn't fit. But that's not a problem because I am going to make it fit. So my plan is to add a new back to the top. The first thing that I do is to remove these two bits that make up the back. To do that, I seam rip it, which is cutting through and ripping out the threads at the side seams, because I don't want to lose any of the fabric. Cutting through all the threads takes a while, but I eventually get there. And at the very top, I snip through the bias binding and the front piece is free. Now, I'm going to use the old back piece as a kind of template for my new back piece, which is basically just going to be a lot wider than this original piece. So for the new back piece, I chose this rusty red color, as I thought it would give the top a kind of cool color blocking effect, but also match the orange at the same time. The new material was also a ribbed jersey so that the texture would match the front. I measured how long the original back piece was, and then I added an inch up the top and an inch down the bottom, so 2 extra inches all up for seam allowance for the hem. I also added about 4 extra inches to the width. Now I added 4 inches basically just by guessing because I figured that I needed about 2 to 3 extra inches of width on the back piece to make it fit, and about an inch for a generous seam allowance, so all up 4 inches. If I've added too much and it's too loose, I can always adjust it and take it in more. Anyway, here's my new back piece. Now I am going to fold and pin these top and bottom edges of the new back piece so that it becomes the same height as the original, using the original nearby as a guide. On the original piece, this top bit actually curved down a little bit towards the center, so I also copied that onto my new back piece by adjusting this hem so that it also has a curve in the middle. Next, I'm going to sew the hem down like this. To sew the hem, I'm actually going to be using this new twin needle that I just got. This is the first time I'm ever using this twin needle, so fingers crossed it works. I bought this because twin needles are really useful for sewing stretch fabrics. When you're only using a normal needle and a normal sewing foot on a material like ribbed jersey, it likes to do this, which is not a super good look. Using a twin needle stops this from happening and it also gives hems this super professional double stitching on the outside. To thread a twin needle, you will need to use 2 spools of thread on the top of the machine. For my machine, both the threads are threaded through together like normal and then separated into each of the 2 needles. The bobbin is threaded just like usual. Also, when you're using a twin needle, you will need to sew on the top side of the material that you're sewing, because these 2 lines of straight stitches will appear on the top, and on the underside it'll appear as zigzags. So on the back piece that I just pinned, I actually had to move all the pins around to the other side. Now I'm going to sew across like this, using my twin needle to hem the back piece. While sewing, I also use my walking foot to make super duper sure that the hem isn't going to ruffle. A walking foot is another weapon in your arsenal against that ruffly hem. It uses these little feed dogs, which kind of look like little walking feet, to pull the fabric through evenly on both the top and the bottom. And this prevents ruffling. When you're using both a twin needle and a walking foot together, you should also sew really slowly. And there it is, my super nice, professional looking, completely flat hem. Now I just have to attach these front and back pieces together, which I do by placing them right sides together and matching up the edges at the sides. Then I pin and I sew like this. Again, I'm using my twin needle for this seam, but if I didn't have one, then I would be using just a regular zigzag stitch. That extra line of stitches that a twin needle provides does give the seam a bit of extra strength. As well as stopping that ruffly hem, the twin needle seems to be pretty good on seams as well. See what I did there? Seams? Yeah. And here's what the top looks like on. It fits, which is much better than before. I can actually breathe in it and it's really comfortable. But it's still tight enough that I don't have to wear a bra with it either, which is great for me because I absolutely hate wearing bras in summer. I also feel like with the orange and red, it has this kind of superhero costume sort of feel to it. kind of like The Incredibles, because of the two colours being colour blocked like that. Am I the only one who's getting that vibe? Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, that's it for today's episode, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Thank you to all of my wonderful Patreon supporters who helped to bring you this video. Check out these two wonderful clothing stores, Little Gun Tank, who makes the most gorgeous upcycled kids clothing, and Sarsparilly, who stocks a whole range of vintage-inspired and handmade dresses. I guarantee you'll love them. Check out the links to these stores in the description box below. See ya!